We are going to build a to-do application with Firefly Semantics Slice. If you'd like to follow along in a written tutorial, there's a link in the description below. The description also contains a link to the stack splits we'll be using to demo how we built the application. This is the app that we're going to build. Go to Stack Splits and start a new Angular application. Before we can complete our project setup, we need to clean up the Stack Splits demo. Within app component.html, delete the hello component. Delete the hello component from app.module.ts. Delete the hello.component.ts file. For styling, we're going to be using Materialize. Go ahead and copy the snippet from the written tutorial into index.html in our Stack Splits app. Now we're going to initialize our dependencies. We'll be using Firefly Semantics Slice for state management. It has a pair dependency on nano-ID, and Stack Splits will pull that in automatically. We'll also use ng-neat until destroy in order to unsubscribe from our observables. The first model file we're going to create is the visibility filter. It has the values used to populate our filter select component. Create a model folder. And inside this model folder, we're going to create to-do-filter.enum.ts, and we'll paste in the values. In order to populate itself, our filter component needs the values contained in the to-do filter enum. So in order to get those values in the form of an array, we're going to map over the visibility filter and return an array containing the values. Within the model folder, create a to-do-filter-values.function.ts file, and go ahead and paste in the contents. The to-do entity store is going to have two partitions, and in our case we have one complete entity partition and one incomplete entity partition, and these partitions are going to be accessed via string keys, and so we're going to model those string keys on this to-do slice enum. Create a file called to-do-slices.enum.ts. and go ahead and paste in the contents. The to-do class is going to be used to model our to-do entities. Create a file called to-do.class.ts. And go ahead and paste in the contents. Now that we have all our model classes, we can go ahead and create our state service. Create a folder called services. And within services, create a file called state.service.ts. We're going to go ahead and paste in all of the contents, and we're going to break these down in the following sections. We are going to model the state of the currently selected filter in an object store. If you would like to know more about object stores and how they are initialized, we have provided a link to the Firefly Semantics object store guide in the description below. We create an active filter observable reference so that we can easily access the current state of our filter. The next thing we create is the to-do entity store. It stores all the to-do entities. There are 5 different types of states associated with the entity store. The to-dos observable contains the collection of to-dos that are currently in the store. The completed to-dos observable contains the collection of the completed to-dos. The incomplete to-dos observable contains the collection of the incomplete to-dos. The selected to-dos observable contains the currently selected collection, and the finito observable allows us to see whether all of the to-dos have been checked off. We've added 2 slices to the entity store, one for completed to-dos and one for incomplete to-dos. If you would like more information about what slices are and how they allow us to observe these collections, click on the link to the entity store guide in the description below. Now that we've initialized our slices, we can observe them like this. In order to get the currently selected to-dos, we use the combineLatest operator from RxJS. If you would like a tutorial on how combineLatest works, please see the link in the description below. The finito observable allows us to see when all of the to-dos have been marked as completed. We use combineLatest in order to create this observable. The last part of our state service adds some API methods for interacting with our entity store. The complete method marks a to-do as completed. The add method is used to create a new to-do. Now that we are done with the state service, we can start working on our components. The first component we're going to create is the add component. It injects the state service and has a title control used to enter the title of a to-do. It also has an add to-do method that adds a new to-do to the entity store and resets the title control. All right, let's go to the app and create a new folder called components. Inside this folder, create add.component.ts. And we're going to go ahead and paste in the contents. The next component we're going to create is the filters component. We first inject the state service. This component has 3 properties. The active property is the currently active filter value. The control is the select control used to drop down the filter values. And the filter values property contains the array of values used to initialize the control. The way we get the currently active filter value initially is we grab a snapshot of it from the object store. We then initialize the form control using that active value. Finally, we subscribe to the value changes of the control so that we can update the object store whenever the user selects a new filter value. All right, let's go to our components folder and create filter.component.ts. And we're going to go ahead and paste in the code. All right, the next component that we're going to create is the to-do component. We inject a state service. We have a control that is the checkbox control used to toggle the completed state on the to-do. We have a to-do input that is the to-do instance itself. And we have a complete method that is used to call complete on the state service whenever the user changes the completion state of the to-do using the checkbox. We also have a delete method, and that is called when the user clicks on the delete button on the component itself, and that deletes the component. We initialize the control using the initial completed state on the to-do. And we subscribe to value changes. Whenever the user clicks on the checkbox, that will update the to-do's completion state and at the same time call complete on this component. Right, let's go to components and create to-do.component.ts. And we'll go ahead and paste in the contents. Okay, the last component that we're going to create is the to-dos component. And this component injects the state service, and it is used to render all the currently selected components. So let's go to our components folder and click on new, and we'll create todos.component.ts and paste in the contents. Okay, now that we've completed all our components, we need to add them to our module. So we're going to go ahead and import all the components. And after they've been imported, we need to update the declaration section of the ng module. We are also going to need to add the reactive forms module. The next thing we're going to do is inject the state service into our component so that it is available to the application when it boots. Lastly, we need to add all our components to app.component.html. So let's go ahead and paste in all our component elements. So just a quick heads up, at this point when I was building this demo, I got the error the pipe async could not be found. To solve that, log out of StackBlitz and then restart the demo, allow it to rebuild, and that should fix the error. So now we have the app working. Let's go ahead and add some to-dos. And that's a wrap. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions or comments or feedback for me, I would love to hear from you in the comments section. And of course, I have to say this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and please smash the bell.